Good morning, good afternoon, goeiedag to you, wherever you may find yourself in the world. My name is Sean Searle, and I'm one of the sales team members here at Redstor, based in Cape Town, South Africa. It's a real privilege to be able to share a little with you today around revolution and not evolution. I really want to welcome each of you onto the session, wherever you may find yourself, and we really appreciate your time. Just in terms of some housekeeping, we will be keeping everybody on mute for the duration of the call. But please feel free to use the Q&A section in the taskbar should you want to post any comments or questions that you may have, and then we'll happily deal with those in the Q&A session towards the end of the call. So what do we really mean by revolution and not evolution? And why is this relevant to you and your clients? In these unprecedented times, many are saying that we need to evolve, and many have said that they have done so. But evolution speaks more to a gradual change, where we have chosen the way of revolution, a fundamental and sudden change in anticipation of a greater good. Many who claim to have embraced cloud first haven't, and are still stuck with on-premise storage requirements, 5-year renewal cycles, and long, tedious restore times. But I believe that today we can prove that we are at the forefront of the revolution. Some or many of you may actually have seen this slide before, but for those who haven't, this comes on the back of hundreds of hours of research, surveys, and client interviews to understand what the main issues C-level executives are discussing at their boardroom levels, and to bring these to you so that we can see how they would affect us and our interactions and discussions with them. Some more than others have become increasingly relevant in the world we find ourselves in, and I'd like to spend a few minutes on those, if I may. Many organizations have had to accelerate the migration to cloud, not only for their infrastructure, but also for their users. And this has created both opportunities, but also increased risk. Many of these projects have had to be fast-tracked, and the due diligence and risk analysis has not necessarily been done, presenting fresh risks to both the clients and their data. Many of our partner clients have not physically been able to access some of their systems and solutions, and in some cases have had their off-site backup regimes come to a grinding halt, with tapes inaccessible and couriers unable to collect or to deliver. More and more data that would have found its way to shared drives or map drives are now sitting on unsecured laptops with minimal security in distributed environments as more and more users find their way into their home working environments. Even without the COVID-19 effect, data is on the move, and more data is being created daily. Making sense of what is valuable and what is not is no small task, and we aim to assist by offering some comprehensive search and insight tools to aid you in this journey. What have we been seeing in the market, and how could it be helpful for you? Well, essentially, a lot of IT departments are often struggling to get the budget that they deserve for a comprehensive backup and disaster recovery system. However, the fallout from COVID-19 is changing minds. Organizations are rapidly accelerating plans to improve the way that they protect their data. Others are reconsidering long-standing policies, no longer seen as adequate due to the increase in home working and cloud adoption. But they can't do it alone, and that's where we see you being able to add considerable value. IT budgets in EMEA had been projected to increase by about 3% in 2020 until the COVID-19 pandemic. This outlook has been significantly amended, and organizations like technology have revised the outlook as follows. The software and IT services market in Western Europe, for example, is likely to decline by between 3 and 12% in 2020. From a technology perspective, hardware will see the largest decline, with spending expected to decline more than 5% this year as companies pull back on most near-term infrastructure investments. IT services and business services will see a more moderate reduction in spending as companies focus on keeping their existing operations and mission-critical projects going at the expense of new spend. The bright light, however, is the software space, where we are anticipating a growth of nearly 2%, led by purchases of collaborative applications and content workflow and management applications. What are some of the challenges that we've seen and experienced from our partnerships and our agreements that we've got out in the marketplace? Well, what we found is that while your customers are most concerned and interested in eliminating downtime, controlling the data explosion and storage spend, and safely helping their users to move to the cloud, you as managed services providers are expected to do this with maximum efficiency, but without demanding any extra management resources or increased spend. Legacy technologies like tape have been holding companies back due to the inability to access the premises and successfully move data off-site, increasing the risk of loss. That reduced office traffic and security has risen. And this is due to the fact that many of our organizations that we partner with have not actually been able to get their staff onto site, and have also seen during the lockdown, the hard lockdown period, that many of their security staff that were employed were not physically allowed to be there, increasing the risk of theft and loss due to those things. Several of our partners like yourselves, however, have used these challenges as an opportunity to lead with our cloud-first solution, which could scale really easily and was simple to implement, build, and understand. Also, we've offered them the opportunity for a search and insight intelligence to ensure that no key piece of data was ever left out. Even before COVID-19, more than 85% of companies were operating a virtual workplace. However, the pandemic has accelerated remote working programs at scale, and 451 Research estimates that there are now over 70 million remote workers globally. Companies have needed to pivot quickly and to provide remote workers with fast, safe, and easy ways to access their data. It's an on-demand world, and your customers will no doubt be asking you questions such as the following. Is our data always available, regardless of where it's stored? Can we access it at any time, from any device, from anywhere? Following a breach, how quickly could our users be up and running with their critical data? Is it days, hours, minutes, or seconds? How do we get around the time-consuming challenge of managing our manual backups, especially when we don't have access to the premises? And how do we effortlessly support the explosion in new apps and growing data sets? These are all questions you need to be able to answer. And right now, you as managed services providers have the perfect opportunity to help companies eliminate downtime. As you shortlist backup and recovery vendors, make sure your number one priority is instant access to data. What research has shown us that organizations are now consuming around 10 times more data than they did a decade ago. And that is accompanied by evolving regulations like POPI and GDPR, complex data ecosystems, and increasing data management costs. Your role as the trusted advisor is to be the voice of reason and assistance. However, this can only be done if you have a comprehensive management platform that live streams backups, archives vital yet older data sets, and offers insight into the entire data estates. With increased consumption within the Microsoft 365 and G Suite areas, legacy on-prem solutions just don't scale, making the need for managing multiple solutions and relationships necessary when all you really want to do is make the management, costing, and resource allocation easier and more effective. A couple of questions that you might want to ask about your current solution is it able to offer a backup and recovery, DR, data archiving, and a search and insight function within one unified platform? Are you able to offer comprehensive support, simplified billing, and unlimited test restores? Can you slash recovery times by streaming data on demand when you want and to where you want? Can you protect both Microsoft 365 and G Suite data in disparate locations in line with your respective compliance regulations? And lastly, can you do all of this from one central web-based control center? We have increasingly seen that older on-prem solutions are just no longer effective, and that management of these legacy appliances and tapes have not passed our most recent stringent COVID-19 exams. The lack of physical access to premises The ability to retain data on accessible tapes for long-term retention has led to backup and recovery issues that place strain both on the service provider and the end user alike. I've personally just recently had a number of conversations with organizations that have got aging data sets that have found themselves on older tape infrastructure, and those drives are no longer able to be kept in a workable format. And essentially, where they found themselves is that they have the tapes, but no ability to physically restore them. What you need to be doing as a managed services provider is to future-proof their clients and their archivable data. While many clients still view cloud investments as risky internationally, cloud spending is actually growing at around 40% in 2019. And in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, IDC reports 60% of European organizations are either maintaining or increasing their spend on SaaS-related products. With cloud at the heart of the majority of these business strategies, data management must follow suit. To stay ahead of the game, MSPs must be able to offer cloud-based solutions as well as on-site and hybrid options. Data is becoming intrinsically more valuable despite age or location, and managing and controlling fragmented data is a leading priority. As businesses continue to use cloud as overspill and embrace new virtual services, you can showcase your expertise and help them master the data sprawl. In the race to cloud first, make sure you're not left behind. As more and more users move into the work from home, and in future many will stay there, we have almost unwittingly waded into new threats to user and data integrity. Users are sitting behind their home ADSL or fiber connectivity on unsecured modems and generally without up-to-date security protocols. These pose new threats, and we need to be prepared for the unknown. So what can we actually do? Well, we think you need to move from a security prevention to a security protection approach. We need to recognize that breaches are inevitable and shift beyond prevention to response. If we need to respond, what is the speed that we're able to recover key critical data at, and how much bandwidth requirement would be expected? We need to acknowledge that the internal threat of employee negligence or willful negligence is just as big as any external threat. And we need to offer company-wide training to familiarize all staff with their security policies, especially as more and more of these clients are moving home. We need to ensure that staff have the right tools to collect, aggregate, and analyze actionable security intelligence from all systems, devices, and applications in real time. We need to put in place tools that enable instant data recovery, including highly detailed searches across all disparate data, and guarantee ransomware recovery. And finally, we need to test, and retest. Surveys suggest that only 29% of companies test their DR plans, and only once a year. We need to help companies hit their restore time objectives with cloud-based solutions that enable them to stream and test their disaster recovery on demand. These truly are unprecedented times. And while your clients appreciate your input, your expertise, and your advice, their primary concern is their business. And in times like this, when it's all about extracting maximum value at minimum cost, while from your end, the concern is around reducing operating costs, growing your revenue, and improving efficiencies across the board. You may well find yourself reviewing your current vendors to see how they stack up. And here are some suggestions of the considerations you could have. Does your current solution give you the ability to view, manage, and report all customers from a single control center? Can you recover and access data rapidly using modern streaming technology from anywhere on any device at any given time? Can you evidence the value and security of your through extensive customer reporting and deep insights, creating both trust and upsell opportunities? Can you rapidly deploy the solution and reduce the ongoing management resources? Can you streamline and simplify their billing with predictable OpEx pricing, which offers both a margin-rich and a repeatable revenue? And finally, can you offering bridge the on-premise, hybrid, and cloud solutions from one unified platform? If you answer no to any of these, you may need to rethink your data management approach. Modern businesses need modern cloud-first technology that provides visibility and streamed on-demand access to all their data wherever it's stored. By providing this, you can satisfy today's demanding buyer and turbocharge your revenue. So at this junction, I'd just like to spend a little bit of time just telling you a little bit more about who Redstor is if you haven't been exposed to us before. And we are very proud to say that we're an organization that's been founded over 22 years ago in 1998. And we're really proud of the fact that we have over 40,000 global customers and over 350 partners, and this rate is growing daily. Most importantly, we're in the business of giving data back when it's most needed. And in the last year alone, we were able to give over 100 million successful restores back to clients in dire straits. As a business and the market we find ourselves in, data is growing around 30% year on year, and we are continuing and very happy to see a similar growth pattern within our own organization. And we are extremely proud of our Net Promoter Score of 70. Essentially what this means and why that's important to you as a partner or a prospective partner is that once our clients choose to partner with us, they will stay with us for a long time, and that our revenue stream is sticky, meaning that you're not going to be having to deal with regular churn. In fact, we tend to keep our clients between 48 and 51 months on average, and I think that is a very compelling point. We're also able to talk across all of our various technology partners, such as Azure and AWS, and we're able to work through very hot topics at the moment, such as Microsoft 365 and G Suite. So to try and just pull everything together and close up what we've spoken about today, what are some of the takeaways that I offer you? Well, our world is changed. It's not changing, it is changed. Our client's data path is changing, and we need a revolution. We simply cannot evolve. If we continue to do what we've always done, we'll get what we've always got. And we run the real danger of being outsmarted, outdated, and ultimately left behind. If the pandemic has shown us anything, it would be that things can change extremely quickly, and that we as business people, business owners, and industry professionals need to be able to scale ourselves and our solutions to future-proof our strategies and to make peace with the fact that our clients' demands for instant access to services they expect hasn't changed just because the world has. So I thank you very much for your attention. And to ensure that no one leaves empty-handed, what I'd like to just make you aware of is the fact that there's all of the information that we could possibly provide for you is available to you from our website. We'd like to offer to our valued partners the opportunity to trial our Microsoft 365 offering, and you can just follow the link on your screen to be able to access that or get more information directly from your account manager. If you would be interested in arranging some time to speak to one of the Redstor team members, or if you'd be interested in looking at doing a demo or a trial, please feel free to visit our website, or alternatively, you can mail us directly at partners@redstor.com. So I just want to thank you once again for your attention, and then I'd like to pass over to Celeste to see if there's any questions that have come through from the panel.
Oh, yes, thanks, Sean. Yeah, there's been some questions. So how has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your current channel partners?
Thanks, Celeste. That's actually a really relevant question. So what we have seen is that a number of our organizations that we partner with have had to really assist clients quite rapidly and without a lot of due diligence to be able to move their clients into a distributed environment. And obviously, as mentioned earlier, that's presented certain risks because not everybody is fully skilled in the ways that they need to manage themselves from behind their home networks. The other thing that we've seen in a number of cases is that with some of the technology solutions in place, there is a high reliance on a third-party offsite methodology, such as tape or external hard drives. And with physical access to those premises being quite difficult to achieve, many of those people have actually just left the backup running with no offsite opportunities. So being able to offer something which is cloud-based, that can be remotely installed, etc., has really helped a lot of those guys to bridge the gaps.
Okay. And you mentioned streaming with instant data. Can you elaborate a bit on how that works?
Certainly. So the idea behind instant data is to truly bring the customer's restore time objective down to near zero. Effectively, using our streaming technology, we can allow a mounted restore point to be instantly accessed with a specific data set being prioritized and presented first while the backup is still actually running and continue to download. So essentially, we'll go and fetch the key pieces of data that we need first, restore those on demand, and then continue to bring the rest of the data in as the day continues.
Okay, and another question here is there a cost involved to restore my data or to restore my customers' data?
Also, really great and I think a very relevant question. In terms of the Redstor methodology, absolutely not. In the case of DR or being needed or data recovery needed, you could simply reach out to one of our support team or to your partner of choice, and they would be able to assist you in terms of getting that data back. There's absolutely no charge for that. There's no egress costs that would be associated to it, and we would be happy to assist wherever we can with that.
Cool. Okay. And please do remember to use the Q&A function if you want to submit more. But I've got another question here. How long does it take to deploy the solution?
So essentially, we can literally deploy the solution within a couple of minutes. There are some pre-configurable installers and MSIs. These can also be run out using your usual Microsoft deployment tools. And literally, it's very, very simple, very easy to do. It can be configured en masse, and our time to value is literally within a couple of minutes. We can get someone up and running and able to be seeing the value of the solution.
Brilliant. Another one here is, in terms of partnerships, do you have an onboarding process? And what does that look like?
Yes, absolutely. So once we've chosen to partner together, there's a number of different aspects that would come into play. Typically, what we would do is make use of our technical account manager. That person's responsibility would be to reach out to you and obviously bring you up to date with what sort of requirements would be needed in terms of access to environments to be able to install. They would then partner with you to put a comprehensive project plan together to ensure that we can migrate the relevant data across, taking into consideration the fact that you would have certain retention periods that you need to present to your client, and we would be able to successfully implement our solution while taking into consideration the fact that there may be another party that's in play for another couple of days until we've got all the data on board, and then we'll be able to seamlessly switch on and switch off. So we will walk you through this process. Similarly, if you are implementing to one of your clients, our team will work with you hand in hand to do the initial support installations, knowledge transfer, and we'd be there at any given time to support you.
Okay, and for sales and marketing support, does Redstor offer any support for us that we can fall back on as partners?
Yes, absolutely. So we'd like to think that we're fairly unique in terms of how we actually take ourselves to market and how we take you to market. Our interest is not simply in producing a vehicle that you could use for backup, but we will actually get in the trenches with you. We've got a very comprehensive and intelligent marketing model that allows you to communicate to your clients en masse with actionable intelligence on the back end to tell you about who's read, who's worked on certain pieces of data, where the key focus areas could be. And from a sales and a pre-sales perspective, our partners, our partner account managers would be there with you throughout to be able to identify applicable clients, to be able to have sensible conversations with them around the value proposition, understand some of the challenges that your clients might be facing, and also to overcome any objections that there might be. And should you ever have a client that's interested in perhaps doing a short trial or a POC, we have pre-sales resources available that would be there to be able to take on that overhead and actually run it successfully through the process. So we will look after you not only from a technical perspective, but from a marketing and a sales perspective. It truly is an all-in-one solution.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Sean. Strange, I mean, you said technical. There's another question here that's just come in as well that says, is there any technical training and do you offer support? I think you've touched a bit on that, but we do offer training in terms of technical support as well?
Yeah, Absolutely. So we've got a standing once a month training session that takes place for all our partners. That's obviously open to both new onboards as well as existing partners. And then what we try and do as part of the onboarding process and a part of the, in cases where we're bringing on competitive data, is to do knowledge transfer on the job. So our team will literally sit with your engineers, will work with you, will actually show you how it's being done. Most of the training and knowledge transfer takes place during those times. But if there is ever a requirement for any additional training, any additional resources, you can reach out to us 24/7 in your local geography, and we'll be able to assist you.
All right, brilliant. Thank you. We've got one last question that's come in. Does the partnership offer recurring revenue, and is it margin rich?
Yes, absolutely. So there's no sort of capex cost to this. There's also there's not necessarily any kind of capital expenditure that you'd need to go into. Our time to value is very, very simple. And in most cases, we would be able to offer you a monthly recurring revenue with margins that are really, really easy to calculate. And for any queries that you might have around our pricing model and our commercial offering, you're more than welcome to reach out to us at partners@redstor.com. Or alternatively, if you're already engaging with one of our account managers, please touch base with them. They would be able to explain the various models to you, and we'd be able to assist you really quickly.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, that seems to be all the questions that we've had. So yeah, I'm handing over to you to say goodbye. Thanks, Sean.
Excellent. Well, thank you all very, very much for your time and attention. I know these mediums are not always the easiest to consume information on, but we truly are living in times when we need to be agile, we need to be able to scale, and we need to be able to change. And we look forward at Redstor to being able to partner with you just to help find our way through these uncertain times. And really, if we can help you in any way, we would be happy to do so. So thank you very, very much to all of you for your time. We really appreciate it, and we hope to have some conversations with you in the very near future.